This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We have a college football game to go over in a bit. Yesterday was Michigan-Nebraska. Today, another Big Ten battle. Wisconsin hosting Maryland. So we'll go over that. Also an NFL play. The Falcons, we'll see if they can capitalize off their win over the Vikings. They go to Carolina coming up on Sunday. Panthers at 0-2. So a couple of those, plus baseball. And right now, out of the gate, let's begin with a hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
The two 93 expansion teams, the Marlins and the Rockies, they meet at Coors Field tonight. You know what's on the line, Lee? Pride. As the two of them hook up in Denver. Hunter Goodman of the Rockies, he's having a breakout season. What do you like with this prop tonight?
They should wear like throwback uniforms, bring back as many old players, do whatever they can, and maybe they'll get 15,000 fans on a Wednesday night where nothing matters. The Rockies are the worst team in baseball. Marlins at least respectable. 9 games, I think it's under 500. But let's look at a player prop. And most people couldn't tell you anything about any of the players on Colorado, the position players. Everyone is all into Cal Raleigh, the catcher for Seattle. But there's actually another pretty good catcher that's come out of Memphis. That's right, Memphis University as far as baseball. Name is Hunter Goodman. Hunter Goodman, in his third year, fashioned a pretty good year. 30 home runs. 87 RBIs, and no one is talking about him. You watch the TV shows, Baseball Tonight, and this and that. They just want to tell you about the top players. Use your eyes. Trust your eyes. Watch these games. And like I said, you're not going to make money on, obviously some of these great players, you're going to see them, hit home runs, multiple home runs in a game. But in the long run, these odds, trust me, they have factored in that, and they usually raise the odds a little bit on what even they should be. But Hunter Goodman doesn't walk much. We're not looking for walks. You don't get anything for walks on total bases. Like I said, 30 home runs, 87 RBIs. He has 29 extra base hits with a 303 average here. He loves to take his swings. And who's pitching for the Marlins? The worst of the worst starters. They've had a bunch of injuries, cut back on innings on a bunch of these starters. Are going to roll out Ryan Weathers, career 8.44 ERA with a 1.75 whip at Coors Field. So great matchup. Guy doesn't care about walking. He's going to take his swings. All we need is a double. Might get us a home run here. We're going to go over 1.5 bases here on Hunter Goodman of the Colorado Rockies, maybe the second best catcher in Major League Baseball as far as hitting is concerned. So that's going to be my hidden gem.
And the Marlins won last night, so we'll see if the Rockies can bounce back. And they've been trying to bounce back all season long. But we'll see how Hunter Goodman fares tonight against the Marlins. We have Rangers-Astros coming up in a little bit. We'll talk about that AL West battle in Houston. But want to hit on some other things, Lee. We didn't get to this yesterday, but I wanted your thoughts on this. So in the Monday night game, the Raiders-Chargers game out in Vegas, Tom Brady, who is not only the number one analyst on Fox, but also he moonlights as a co-owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. So he's in these meetings with these teams. Now it's kind of a controversy. Usually you'd have these pre-production meetings with the teams as an analyst and get the thoughts from the coaches and players. They wouldn't let Brady in because of his ties with the Raiders, but now he was in. First game of the season he does is Commanders-Giants on Fox. So he gets to talk to the Commanders. Okay. Guess who the Raiders play coming up this week? The Commanders. And he was also in the box, in the coach's box, in the Monday night game against the Chargers. So with all that being said, a little bit of conflict of interest, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Tom Brady's good for football. I mean, he's good for the NFL. Maybe you go down as the greatest quarterback of all time. All the rings that he won. But bottom line is you can't have him finding out what's going on and then in the coach's box. You know, he wants to sit there in his own box as a fan. Great. But, you know, if I'm a team and I'm playing the Raiders or anyone, you know, associated with a division, which is going to be a team somewhere along the line, I'm not telling him anything. When he comes to the production meeting, I'm going to say, oh, if I'm the offensive coordinator, head coach, oh, we want balance. You got to have the running game, you know, that's got to produce the passing game. That's important too. I wouldn't give him anything. I wouldn't talk about any special plays. So I think it's a real conflict of interest. And yeah, I have a problem with it. So there's some other things that we've seen along the way. I don't like the tush push personally. You like it, Kevin?
No, I don't. I look at it two ways, Lee. Number one, if they don't ban it, then you just got to deal with it. That it is what it is. I don't like the play because all the leverage is going, like they perfected it, that anytime they have fourth and less than 2, 4th and 1 is automatic. Like they're getting it. And they have a quarter. They don't have Tua behind there. Jalen Hurts is a big dude. So you push him, he's going to get the first down. I don't like it. I don't think it's good for football, but apparently they don't agree with it. So you got to find a way to stop it.
Well, I mean, I was a former quarterback and I did quarterback sneaks a lot, but they didn't allow the running backs to push me from behind. So if they want to make it so, okay, other plays, everything except for the quarterback sneak, you can push the offensive player with the ball, but they got to make some changes to it. I mean, there was, I don't know, was there like 8, 10, 12 plays, something like that during the game where that was involved? It slows up play, less plays. You know, we're here to see action, right? Here to see, you know, scrums in the middle of the field. So this isn't rugby. So I have a problem with it. I have a problem with Tom Brady being in the box, especially the coach's box after he's done a production meeting with a team the week before. So got to make some changes. You got to put your foot down. But, you know, sometimes in some of these major sports like basketball and football, they're slow to make changes. And if I was another owner, I certainly would be filing a complaint.
I'm surprised that the NFL, I know they want to put Brady on the big games because he's on the number 1 team, but I'm surprised that they don't try to look at the schedule to avoid him. I'm not talking about the playoffs, but like avoid games that the Raiders, the opponents that the Raiders are playing. Like, you knew they're going to play Washington in week 3. Why is he on a Washington game in week 1? Try to avoid as many games as possible. And then, of course, who does he have this past week? The Chiefs. So he has the Commanders and the Chiefs the first 2 weeks, teams that are on the Raiders schedule. So it just makes it so easy to be like, oh, I'm going to talk to Andy Reid, or I don't know if Mahomes was in there. And it's like, I'm going to get information from them. They're probably smart enough not to give away everything. But it's about conflict of interest. The first 2 games are games against teams they're going to play eventually.
Kevin, it's all about TV. They want TV ratings.
Yeah.
I mean, they work with college football. You don't think they work with them first week? You know, week 1 of college football, they have the huge games. You know, the Miami Notre Dames, the Alabama Florida States, LSU Clemson's, and then what the next week? Nothing while the NFL starts. So, you know, they're all working together. They just want to get eyes, you know, on TVs. They want to get ratings. They want the ad dollars, and they want to do that. They got to face some criticism too.
Oh, speaking of quarterbacks, let's look at college really quick. And we've discussed the first few weeks about the guys that have gotten the most attention, Arch Manning and Garrett Nussmeier of LSU, Lenora Sellers of South Carolina, that a lot of them, they haven't lived up to the billing necessarily. Carson Beck has been outstanding. He's now the favorite for the Heisman, and we'll see what he does this week when the Canes play the Gators. But who else are you looking at as far as other quarterbacks that maybe are getting up the board a little bit that haven't been talked about?
Marcel Reed. I mean, Texas A&M was fabulous. I mean, that's a team and an offense you thought, oh, well, Notre Dame blocks a punt for a touchdown. Notre Dame was flying high. They were buzzing. They were playing at a different level to start that game. And Marcel Reed didn't bat an eye, throwing and running the football. In fact, he has 11 touchdowns. Is it 9? Is 11 touchdown passes?
Nine touchdown passes. Yeah.
I mean, he's right up there with all the leaders. And average person couldn't tell you his name. They know Nussmeier. They know Sellers. They know DJ Lagway. Those three guys, they don't even total. Actually, they total the exact amount. Those three guys have 11 touchdown passes, and 2 of them were talked about to win the Heisman and being picked in the top 10 in the draft. And Marcel Reed, no one knows about him. He was definitely the best quarterback I saw in week 3 in college football. So take notice, Texas A&M, team on the rise, quarterback, very tough to stop running and throwing the football.
I want to give you this number really quickly before we step aside and look at baseball coming up. So Arch Manning this year has 6 touchdown passes. That's tied for 7th among SEC quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, you look at all the different metrics, his passer rating, and there's 16 teams now in the SEC. I think he's like 13th, 12th, 13th, 14th in almost everything. So not good, but he has a name, and he might eventually be good. He's not there. Trust your eyes. I tell that people all the time. Trust what you see, not what you're listening to. More than half the time, I don't even have the volume on watching games. I just want to trust my eyes, and I want to take notes. And trust me, usually the notes don't match what these pundits are saying, these announcers and also color analysts on college football and the NFL.
And also, too, past playing Ohio State in the opener, he had 4 touchdowns against San Jose State. He had a touchdown. He was terrible. I mean, the numbers were terrible against UTEP. And I play Sam Houston State this week. I understand you're going to get Oklahoma and these other teams in the SEC coming up. You're going to have a bunch of SEC games, but against non-named schools, like, you're not even lighting it up. If you were lighting up in those games, I'd say, okay, well, let's see what happens. You're not even lighting up in those games.
Look at the top 3 quarterbacks right now for the Heisman. Who are they? John Mateer for Oklahoma. Great college football, running and throwing the football. Carson Beck, who mainly is a thrower, but he even ran. They did some RPO, and he had some great reads and some fakes and got some, third downs easily, where he was able to get 5, 7, 8 yards and then take a knee. So right now it's John Mateer and Carson Beck. Two guys on top, and Marcel Reed, it looks like third in the Heisman, and those 3 have looked the best. So they may not have been the highest rated quarterbacks coming in, most talked about, but right now those 3 are playing the best football, making really good decisions. They've got some weapons, all these teams at receiver, and they're rolling. I would not go against any of those 3 teams unless they, like I said, were giving a lot of points.
And Beck has already beaten 2 top 25 teams at home. They got Florida this week, who's not in the top 25, and then they got Florida State coming up in a few weeks. So it doesn't get easier, and we'll see how his numbers fare in those games. Coming up, we'll look at Rangers Astros, big one inside the AL West. Also, Falcons Panthers Sunday, and on Saturday, Wisconsin and Maryland. We'll look at all those games coming up. You are listening to Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and we love talking about FanDuel here on Locked On Bets. Why? Because the NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. NFL Week 3, just a couple days away with Bills and Dolphins. Actually, tomorrow night already. We've hit Thursday. Bills and Dolphins in Buffalo. Bills are a big favorite there. And then Sunday, you got a bunch of big games, including Chargers, Broncos inside the AFC West. And then on Monday night, Lions, Ravens in Baltimore. You have sides, you have totals, you have money lines you could bet on. Also, if you want to look at MVP odds, Josh Allen of the Bills, Lamar Jackson of the Ravens, top 2 candidates there. Offensive Rookie of the Year. You can look at Super Bowl odds as well. Bills and Ravens, no shock. They're up there along with the Eagles for the top teams to win the Super Bowl. So you have plenty of choices for awards, futures, games, player props, all of it at FanDuel. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. We roll on here, Locked On Bets here on a Wednesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And we're going to shake things up a little bit here on a Wednesday and give you an early lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
All right, quickly, before we get to the lock of the day, Lee, because we kind of talked a lot of football, we didn't get to our recap in the last segment. We went 1-2 last night, and we lost on Michael King. He got lit up in the first inning, and the Padres lost to the Mets. So we can kind of like do a duo here and just say that it just didn't work out. That it was just didn't work out. Quick 0-2.
Yep. Lost the game. Lost his. I mean, he settled in, I think, in the second and third, but didn't last longer after that. But horrible opening outing. I had it happen to me once. First inning, gave up 8 runs on 8 hits. So I know how he feels. But some days you just can't locate, and you're just throwing meat out there. And they were hitting it. 3 home runs, not his day. Not our day as far as the team, too. You're down 5-0 in the first. Bad things are going to happen.
Yeah, so 0-2 there with that, with the King prop and with the Padres. We did win with the Mariners. First 5, -0.5. That was easy. Logan Gilbert was great. Cal Raleigh hit a couple home runs, and the Mariners rolled the Royals. So let's transition now into the lock of the day. And I have the Texas Rangers tonight in Houston against the Astros. Now, I'm taking Texas -0.5. Jacob deGrom on the mound for Texas, and he is coming off of a great outing against his former team, the Mets, back on Friday night. Got a ton of run support. I think I saw the stat that the 8 runs he got was the most runs of support he ever got with the Mets. Or as far as that he had as a member of the Mets, he never had that many runs of support. So he gets that with another team at Citi Field with Texas. So had to say it the right way. Anyway, Jacob deGrom, 4-2 his last 6 in the first 5 innings. He is 0-2-1 against Houston this year in the first 5. So you're hoping that he can bounce back here. Christian Javier on the mound for Houston. He's led 1 time through 5 innings in 6 starts. And after the Astros won the first 2 of the series, I'm going to go with the Texas Rangers -0.5 in the first 5. You can get it at even money. So we're going to take that as our lock of the day, Lee.
Like it a lot, and think you're going to bring home the lock of the day. What level are we going to do it? 1, 2, or 3?
Let's do it 2.
2. Okay, I like
2.
it. Yeah. All you got to do is lead after 5. Just don't trust the Texas. I used to call them the strangers when they used to lose a lot. Not the Rangers, the strangers. So I don't trust their bullpen. Good call.
Yeah, let's see what happens with deGrom if he can get through this 5 innings. Just get some support. Get about 2 runs. Like that, I think that's been the problem too, is that he pitches well, and then it's 1-0 after 5, and they're trailing. So we'll see what he does. All right, let's go to the NFL now. And week 3 starts tomorrow. Bills Dolphins. Sunday, you have a lot of big games. The NFC South. Tampa Bay has played very well. They're 2-0. Atlanta, after they lost the opener to the Bucs, they beat up the Vikings on Sunday night. So that was a good rebound for them. Now they go to Carolina, face the winless Panthers, and it's time now for wrong team favored.
What the fuck? WTF.
I feel like the biggest lesson, Lee, in the NFL is whatever you saw last week, just throw out. Whatever you saw, just kind of forget about it, or don't buy too much into it. We saw that with Russell Wilson in week 1. He was terrible. He threw for 450 against the Cowboys last week. Falcons played very well at Minnesota. Carolina, they stink on the road. Now they're home opener. So with all that being said, Falcons favored at Carolina. What do you think?
All right. So a couple things going for us here. These 2 teams, when they face off, bitter rivals. A lot of people in the public don't know about the Atlanta-Carolina rivalry. Just they're close to each other. They're like 4 hours, I think, drive time. Don't like each other. And last 5 years, they've actually split the 10 games. 7 of the 10 games have been decided by 3 or less. One of them even went into overtime. So these are usually really close games. Let's look at stats as far as since 2021. Home underdogs, 252 and 193. How good is that? 56.6%. Now, you only need to hit 52.38% to break even. In the long run, you do that, you're going to make a lot of money. Anyone telling you they're hitting 65, 70% can't be done. Been in this business my 32nd year, best year I ever had in 31 full years, 64%. I got every single break go my way. I think it was my 7th, 8th year in business. So 56% is a really strong trend, almost 57%. But the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, home dogs, get this, 56-30. That's 65.1%. So home underdogs, first 3 weeks of the season, very, very strong. Now, you look at the talent of Atlanta, a lot of talent on offense. Public's going to be on them this week. Why? Because it's the last thing they saw. They go into Minnesota. They upset Minnesota. They look great. But Michael Penix is still a rookie in my eyes. I mean, he played some last year, I think the last 4 or 5 games. But, he's not used to, going on the road and winning by more than a touchdown. So I like that young quarterback for Carolina, developing some chemistry here with his number 1 first-round pick here with McMillan. Also, Jatavian Sanders, and also Hunter Renfrow, who they cut and they brought back, and he looked really good last week. So he's one of those guys on third down will get you 5-7 yards and move the chain here. So like that chemistry. Now, first 2 weeks, Carolina, what happened? They had turnovers first 2 possessions. I don't see that happening again. This crowd's going to be fired up. They are 0-2. This is a must-win game here. Atlanta's feeling really good about themselves. We're going to take the points here. This is going to be my wrong team favored. Carolina Panthers plus the points. Might even win it outright. Might want to sprinkle, maybe a third or 25% of your wager on Carolina here. Money line. That pays out. You're going to be really happy.
Yeah, and Carolina, we know, has been bad on the road, but at home they've been more respectable, and they picked up a few wins last year at home, so we'll see if they could do it again coming up on Sunday for their opener. Coming up, we will head to college football, Maryland and Wisconsin. Badgers blown out by Alabama last week. We'll see if that happens again or if Wisconsin turns it around. All of that is straight ahead right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Wednesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And now it is time to go to the Big Ten and a blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Maryland's been rolling with a cupcake schedule. Wisconsin off a loss to Alabama and Tuscaloosa last week, and the Badgers bounce back. Lee, what do you like here in the Big Ten?
Yep, you hit on one of the points. Cupcake schedule. Played FAU, which they lost last week, to FIU. They got pushed around. They're not a physical team. Northern Illinois, play it tough. Don't quite have the talent, as we know, where they beat Notre Dame last year, but they played hard and they covered. And then they played Towson, did Maryland. So you're thinking, 3-0, this is Mike Loxley's year. Don't believe the hype. I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great motivator. I think he's one of these guys. He'll get you at a certain level. Last year, not a good year, 4-8. He might be his level, 7 wins tops. He goes 7-5. But bottom line is he picks coaches with him who he's familiar with. That's what a lot of coaches do. His offensive coordinators, Pep Hamilton. And he's fine for beating teams like that. He's not going to beat the teams that are at that level where they are and above. And people are off Wisconsin. Why? And I'm not saying they're great, but they are playing at home. And what they saw last week, Alabama took them to the shed. Just much more talented, speed, skill positions, too much here. But Wisconsin is one of these teams that's going to take care of the team similar to them. And they're also, Maryland, hitting the road with a true freshman quarterback. So don't like to take quarterbacks, in situations that don't have experience. Malik Washington is talented. So far, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. In fact, averaging 9 yards per attempt. Great. But all he has is a fastball. He throws the ball like 98 to 100 miles an hour, fires it. The long ball, screen plays, everything. And a lot of times you get balls that go off receivers' hands, deflections. He's going to be hurried a little bit more here. And I love the offensive coordinator for Wisconsin. Don't have great talent. We went against them last week and had Alabama, but Jeff Grimes, really good offensive coordinator. He's been at BYU, Baylor, and Kansas. I think he was up 2 of those places for the Frank Broyles Award, best coordinator. So I like Wisconsin here. They're trying to trap you. You're thinking, hey, take Maryland here, plus the 10 points here, double-digit points, and you're thinking the better team. Don't believe the hype. Don't fall for the trap. Wisconsin, blowout special, -10 over Maryland on Saturday.
By the way, since the beginning of last season, all 7 wins for Wisconsin, all by double digits. So when they win big. So we'll see how that turns out with Wisconsin and Maryland coming up in Madison on Saturday. All right, Lee, Paramount Sports, what's going on as we turn the page to another week beginning tomorrow night?
Yep, this is a promotion that I've done over the years, probably gets the most interest and the most people want to come on board. It's called the Baker's Dozen. It's a combined 13 games, Saturday and Sunday, instant download. So if you purchase it today, you don't have to call back on Saturday morning or Sunday for the games. You're all ready to go. A lot of people, they got things going on in their life. They have their kids, soccer games, things like that. They want to do stuff. So you got the games starting on Wednesday, 13 games, just $97. The way to try us out here at Paramount Sports. We've had some 12-1, 11-2, and 10-3 records on this promotion. So Baker's Dozen, $97, just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, the audience growing daily, and also our podcast version as well. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And again, Locked On Bets, that's where you can find us. We'll be back with you on Thursday as we head into week 3 of the NFL, also week 4 of college football. So excited for that. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. We'll talk to you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Bets on the Locked On Podcast Network.